Hello，大家好，我是 John。今天我们有一个访谈的节目，好吧？然后距离我们访谈时间还有15分钟，我先来快速介绍一下我们今天的访谈对象，好吧？他的名字叫 Evan Bradley，然后来自美国，是一个我们 SEO 的同行，当然他也有做一些其他的事情，好吧？所以，为什么邀请他来？做我们这次访谈也是因为我们上周应该是上上周啊，上上周在清迈这边的 SU Meetup，然后遇到了他，然后看到好像比较脸熟，因为去年清迈 SU 大会的时候，我们其实有在一个线下聚会有认识，好吧？当时觉得他做的事情挺酷，应该是来自美国，应该是芝加哥还是哪个地方啊？然后，非常喜欢骑摩托车，然后旅游，然后同时又做 SEO。我觉得这种生活方式可能就是我们的那个读者里面有些人可能会比较喜欢的啊。我不知道大家喜不喜欢摩托车。然后最酷的事情，他已经将自己这种旅游爱好啊，摩托车这种变成了自己的这个赚钱的这个结合起来，好吧？他有做内容站，也有做一些自己这种创业项目，待会我们会具体谈，好吧？然后我觉得真的挺酷的，然后他也特别的这种，喜欢分享，好吧？所以喜欢 networking，喜欢 connect with more people，跟人产生连接，然后我提到了，我们有这么一个，来自中国的 SEO 博客，当时觉得中国的 SEO 人是不是都是优化百度啊或什么的？因为他们很多老外没有去过我们中国，他就觉得好像我们都是生活在百度这个生态上面，好吧？但是他也不知道我们那个其实出海的人其实挺多的，特别是最近几年，对吧？OK，还有一点时间，我先来分享屏幕，然后带大家快速了解一下这个人，好吧？因为我跟他也不是特别的熟，但怎么说呢，也没关系，是吧？这种采访有时候不熟，那我们就慢慢来了解他，好吧？然后看从他身上我们能不能学到或者得到一点这种启发启示，好吧？还有，我觉得更重要的是，可能有人会觉得为什么美国人这么喜欢泰国，是吧？然后他到底这里有什么魅力啊？好吧，行，这个是 Evan 的网站啊，我也是应该是第二次还是第三次看到，好吧。然后他的这个应该属于他的创业项目之一，他是做这种摩托车的这种旅行，有点像是嗯 private mastermind，就是他邀请你来参加这个摩托车的一个计划，好吧，然后去哪里做什么。然后不仅仅是这种骑行，还有这种那个叫什么这个 mastermind，就是你问我答，大家在一起共同探讨创业，怎么做生意，怎么去通过互联网来赚钱淘金，好吧？因为他们这一类人生活的方式就是一边旅游一边工作，好吧？对，我不知道 Evan 今年多大哦，他应该是第一次来泰国，我记得没错的话，应该是5年前还是6年前啊。对，他以前一直是在美国待着的，然后来泰国，然后就很喜欢这里的山山水水啊，还有这里的一些，反正就是泰国这边吸引我们的很多全部，他们都好像都欧美人都挺喜欢的。我记忆深刻的是美国人特别喜欢这边的清迈这边的山，因为在美国。比如说你来自西部或者是南部哪些地方，好像他们是见不到我们这种，郁郁葱葱啊这种绿色的这种山啊，然后，美国很多地方都是一览无余是平的嘛，然后我们这里有一些这种高山啊，然后绿色，然后有下雨，这种景象这种 view 是在欧美很多地方是见不到的，好吧？所以，然后如果你有喜欢骑行，其实你可以骑很多地方去看一些这种风景，真的是还是蛮震撼的，好吧？虽然我没有去骑太多地方啊，因为一个摩托车，我的摩托车也挺基本，也没有那么大的马力啊。对，我记得没错，那个 Evan 应该是骑的那个是，我不知道是不是哈雷哦，哈雷应该是在摩托车里面一个挺知名的品牌，哈雷应该是哈雷 Davidson 吧，应该是啊。Anyway，到时候访谈的时候我们可以问问他，好吧？这是他网站， 这个网站应该是看一下叫 Road Adventure Made Easy. We build trips money cannot buy for independent thinkers like yourself to grow and connect. OK，它应该是一个基于这种有点像是圈子，好吧？这种你进去不仅是骑行，还有一些这种其他的事情你可以做。Independent thinkers，看到没有？它其实有一点是触及这种骑行是一种爱好，还有结合了这种networking 在这里面，好吧？还有一些这种 entrepreneurship 创业，好吧？我们来看看 more than just a vocation，adventure drives personal evolution。But most people never find a real adventure. We make adventure accessible, curating of the beaten path journeys to change how you see the world. OK， open mass mind, open rights, mass minds， 看到没有？一边骑一边大家探讨怎么增长自己的生意 ，mass mind， 好吧？对，ride across Thailand with fellow entrepreneurs as you problem solving and adventure together， 好吧？其实他打造了这个，你看到没有？这个是从定位来说，他就定位这一类人，不仅仅是定位骑行爱好者，他还要从骑行爱好者里面挑这种创业者，好吧？这有点像是一个缝隙市场啊，他就定位这类人，这类人有什么特点？好吧？就喜欢生活方式，又有钱。所以也愿意付钱来参加他这种，就是来购买他这种产品哦。这是应该是打造的，应该是一类，应该是这种服务吧，好吧？这个产品就是他的服务啊，带你去，去泰国哪个地方几天，然后去哪里去走哪些地方，好吧？然后 networking 一起探讨什么，好吧？可能不同的天，有不同的这种话题。具体我也不知道，我也没有去参加过，好吧，这是我猜的啊。A new and unique form of mastermind conference， 好吧，所以它不仅仅是 mastermind， 你问我答，很多这种在国外就是 mastermind 算是非常流行的一种产品，可以讲是，或者是一种活动的形式，就是你问我答，好吧。但呢，它就很巧妙的将那个旅行啊，就是骑摩托车旅行，这个跟那个 mastermind 结合起来。那这种迸发出来的这种吸引力，对于普通人来说就不一样了，好吧？它缝隙市场人数定位确实小，但是它这里那个潜在的这种付费能力目标客户的付费能力是很不一般的，好吧？具体我不知道多少钱，待会我们要不要看一看他会收多少钱啊？Ideas in the future rides，OK， 这是他写博客啊。这个应该是 What writers say， 这应该是有点像是 customer testimonial， 好吧？这都是真实的照片啊。OK， 这个人就是 Evan， 左边这里，好吧？看起来他挺冷酷的啊，面容挺冷酷，但是跟他聊的时候，他其实是一个很随和的人啊。对 ，OK， the right of passage difference. Okay, we strive to combine road adventure with meticulous planning, so you can enjoy the 这个是不是不认得哦 of the road and the personal reflection it will prompt in you. Okay, every hotel, meal, route, adventure, and conversation starter took years for us to develop the home for your ride. 看到没有？它其实有点像是跟团，好吧？但这种团呢，又不仅是你跟了以后什么事不做，其实这里面还有一些这种 networking 的这个在里面，有点是打造旅游跟商务mastermind 这一起的这么一个产品啊。我觉得这个还是挺有创意的，好吧？他说这种看 hotel, meals, route。Adventure 这个都是花了他们好多年的时间去打造的啊，对，确实不错啊。然后这是它的 USP， 就是 Unique Selling Point， 好吧 ？Vetted Riders， 所以它不是所有的那个骑摩托车人都可以审核通过的，好吧？它还有一些审核的过程，Deep Conversation，Deep Discussions，Unique Itineraries。好吧，独特的这个一些路径，你骑摩托车的人，你不知道大概去泰国怎么走。我看这张图片好像还有中文字啊，就是不知道是哪个地方没去过啊。所以这些东西对于这种他的目标受众都是很有吸引力的，好吧？如果我是一个骑行爱好者，然后 来泰国又不熟，有可能我就觉得，这个 Evan 的这个 Rite of Passage 这个服务项目，我觉得就挺有趣，好吧？OK，Stay in Action，他录了一个 video 这个中间这个坐在 C 位的就是那个 Evan 好像这个在的还是一个看这个背景，这个墙这里还有贴，应该是和谐，好吧？那个是一个对联还是一幅画一样的对，应该在泰国的某个地方Ready for Adventure，Magical Thailand，所以这是它的细分产品在这里，All-inclusive motorcycle and Odyssey through the land of smiles，这是在泰国，这就是11月4号到13号，如果没记错，应该刚好就是清迈 SEO 大会前几天，应该今年的清迈 SEO 大会，我要不搜一下好吧？今年的清迈 SEO Conference 2024。对，看是11月18号到22号然后这是我的那个，这个它就是在4号到13号举办的为期10天9天10天，所以他会带你去骑摩托车去这些地方。Last call, 2 seats left. Prices go up with each seat filled。好吧，最后他已经看现在8月份还有3个月，他票已经快卖完，只有2个席位了。我看一下，如果点 begin，它会出现什么Magic Thailand Tour Join Waiting List，看起来是挺酷的，1、2、3、4、5、6、7个人，没有看到，我带你去打泰拳，OK，吃好吃的，玩好玩的这大概就是他的一些那个8天9个晚上7 riding days，OK，What you get price？ 嘿，我要看价格呢，这里为什么没有呢？Include，为什么没有价格呢？这是我最想知道的，好吧？Captain Seed 叫自己叫 Captain Seed，OK，价格在哪里？我只是好奇Stay in touch，OK，好像没看到价格，你有看到吗？大家，不知道。What makes a difference? Or should I？它已经可能是已经卖完了，我猜所以价格应该取下来了Book now 等一下 Book now，看这里 Close for 2024OK，其实它已经没有了Close for 2024好吧，我们回去看它另外一个产品，这个产品已经没有了这是 Magic Thailand，回去到这里 Mastermind Core Thailand with like-minded entrepreneurs combine adventures with structured mastermind sessions. Must be running your own business. In the 5-day trips in November, only 8 seats. 这个应该是可以。它这个是一个 mastermind，它这个打造的这个产品就应该跟骑行没有太多关系。5天应该也有骑行嘛？看一看。The time in the lobby track. Reserve your spot. Day 1, Day 2 offers plugin challenge flexibility. OK。它应该这是一个创业的课程，有点像是我们国内的这种3天2夜这种闭门培训我看一下这个是多少钱？这里有显示价格，看到没有 ？Reserve your right, luxury lodging 4 nights 500 OK。看到没有？是1195美元，OK。所以这是它的价格9月1号前1200美元，大概多少人？8000多块钱，好，8000多块钱4个晚上5天的这种培训OK，这听起来也没有那么贵，好吧？好像比我们国内这种几天几夜培训好像是要更实惠一点点当然，它这里是这种创业有关的这种培训OK，好吧。OK，大概了解他的一些背景这是他的那个路线图，看没有？清迈在这里，他会去 应该是一个 round trip 吧，从清迈出发，可能就要到那个枪道啊，这是一个很漂亮的地方，然后到清莱 Chiang Rai，然后这个叫什么？叫帕腰啊，我泰语不好啊，应该是1、2、3、4个地方，然后回来清迈这边会在外面5天，然后带你去看看走走，然后教你一些这种商业技能，好吧？大概就是这样子，我觉得挺酷的啊。OK，我们就等待一下子，好吧？待会我会问那个 Evan 一些问题，在访谈过程中，今天应该不会超过1个小时，我会尽量控制时间，不超过1个小时，好吧？像上次采访那个 Alex Savvy 的时候，我记得我们应该是有超过2个小时，后来完全失控了，那个时间完全没有概念，而且是我这边是半夜，从应该是晚上10点一直打到了12点多。OK，行，今天我尽量能够把时间控制在1小时之内，好吧？对，还有提一点，我们这个是没有那个字幕的。对，我有想过就去弄这字幕，但是后来走了一圈，也试了一些这种方案，还没有发现对中文和英文识别度非常高的这种软件啊，就要么中文好，要么英文识别好，没有一个这种2者都做得很好的，好吧？然后这个剪辑也是一个大工程，所以我就可能只能做这种简单的这种剪辑，好吧？然后，所以在这里的话，对那些比较挑剔的读者，大家要求比较高了，可能得说声抱歉，好吧？等以后我们条件好了以后，我们再来考虑，好吧？行，那我们就等待 Evan 过来，我先把屏幕给 stop presenting 一下啊，但是依然在 record， 好，我们就等 Evan 等一下进来，好吧？Hey Evan, good to see you. Wow, what a background.
It's my ChatGPT created dream house.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's like it doesn't look like a real picture, but it still gives you that feeling of Thailand, mountain, sunshine. And I know it's definitely not Chiang Mai because Chiang Mai is raining now pretty much every day.
Yeah. So cloudy.
Where are you located now? In Chiang Mai still?
Yeah, I'm in Chiang Mai.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool, man. Yeah. It's great to have you, show up in this interview. I would say it's more like a chat. Yeah. I've told you I write a SEO blog, and then some of my readers, they are also I believe they also like the lifestyle you are living. You are an entrepreneur, you are an SEO, and then you are also a traveler. All these combined makes a lifestyle that a lot of people want to pursue. Yeah, that's the reason why I want to invite you to this interview and then share what you have with my audience. Yeah.
Nice. Sounds good. Yeah,
Cool. How about we? Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm excited to talk about this stuff.
That's awesome. How about we get started with you just give us a quick intro about yourself. I mean, we have met each other I think this is the 3rd time that we met, right?
Yeah.
So I also don't know exactly like what's your past history. So I have a lot of questions prepared for you. Hopefully we can, you can get this answered, within 1 hour. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah. All right. So as far as my background, as you can see, I probably didn't grow up in Thailand, but I live here now. I've been here for 5 years. I grew up outside Chicago in the Midwest, actually, in the US, and spent the first 18 years of my life there, went to school on the East Coast, and then lived in New York City for 3 years. And I was chasing having a career, climbing the ladder, making a bunch of money, getting a great job title. And I very quickly realized when I was actually still in school that I didn't really want to go to the traditional corporate way. I wanted to do something more like entrepreneurship. I got into startups and technology, did that for a couple of years, and graduated and worked for a startup in New York. But I very quickly realized that in entrepreneurship, at least the way that it was presented in school, and the opportunities that I had at graduation, I looked at the people at those companies and the CEOs, and I really modeled the CEOs. I wanted to be a CEO of the next Uber, the next Google, whatever, and create this tech behemoth that, you know, provided all this value for people. And I think it was mostly because of VC funding. I realized that that is not the way that I want to go. This like tech company that doesn't make any money, that raises money from VC investors and ends up having a big lavish office where people play ping pong. Like
Right.
it's not all that it's cracked up to be. Maybe for the employees, it's pretty fun and easy, especially if you're working for a huge tech company that's really no longer a startup. But from the CEO's perspective, what I saw was these people work harder than those climbing the corporate ladder, and they have less freedom because they're given more freedom, but they have less room to breathe in their lives because they have more freedom, but they have way more responsibility, and people, not necessarily responsibility, but people breathing down their neck with expectations. So instead of a boss, they have investors, and the investors have an expectation of growth. And if you're not hitting those growth targets, then you're kind of out of favor with the whole VC system. And then boom, there goes your whole startup and everything that you've tried to build over the last few years. So that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. And at that time, I got a remote job, and I decided to just pack up and move to Thailand. I was sick of living in the US. I wanted to try something totally different and just change up my life in a lot of ways. So I moved here and just fell in love with it. I gave myself 90 days. So I didn't say like, I'm going to move to Thailand and I'll never come back. I said,
So
I'll
that
give it
was
90 days.
at that time was your first time to visit Thailand, right?
It was my second time here.
Okay, so
So
you've
I
been
had
here
been,
before.
yeah, I'd been once right when I graduated college, and I traveled a lot as a kid. I was really fortunate that my dad's a commercial airline pilot and my family loved to travel. So went all over the place. Actually, the first time I left the US, we went to China for 2 weeks.
Oh,
And that
wow.
just totally
When was that?
broke
I'm curious.
that was
Yeah.
2002, I think, like maybe spring of 2002. And that was totally wild. Like no one I knew in my friend circles or my neighborhood had ever even been close. Maybe a handful of people have been to Asia, but no one had been to China. So I
For
got
2
the
weeks,
travel
do you
bug
still
pretty early.
remember which cities or places you visited? I mean, it's more
We
than 2
went
decades
to
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, we went to Beijing and Shanghai, and we took a cruise on the Yangtze River. I don't remember where we went on that cruise, but I remember it was part of the river that is now flooded from the Three Gorges Dam. So it must be upriver from that,
Okay.
because
Could be
we saw all
Wuhan,
these
could
like
be
villages.
Sichuan. That's the origin of Yangtze River. Yeah. And then it
Yeah.
comes all the way to Shanghai and then merge with the sea.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
we took it from one of those cities like upriver down to Shanghai. Maybe we did Beijing and then the cruise and then Shanghai. I don't remember the order of it. I just know that we went to those places.
Got you. Yeah, let's switch back a little bit to your corporate life. You kind of remind me of two of my jobs in California. You know, I got educated in San Francisco. I also love the tech community there, the entrepreneurship. You know, I worked for a digital agency before. I also joined a tech startup in San Diego. Yeah, I kind of understand that kind of growth pressure from from top to down. You know, you got
Mm,
VC backed up. Everybody's chasing for growth. Yeah, so it's make everybody tired, you know. Yeah. So
yeah.
my question is, at what point it's just all of a sudden looks like you can see through your career, you know, people. So that make you make the decision to not I wouldn't say quite quick, but switch a lifestyle. You know, what was the main driving force or motivation behind? Or someone coach you, or is it just you wake up one day and then you made the decision by yourself? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean the decision to leave the country and ultimately to move to Thailand, that happened just in the back of my girlfriend's car, like a snap
Oh,
in my
wow.
head, just like a rubber band snapped. And I was like, okay, I want to leave. I don't know where I'm going to go or what exactly I'm going to do. I had the remote job at that time, so I knew I could probably take this job and go anywhere. And I was
Mhm.
just sick of New York City as well. So part of it was I just wanted
Oh,
to get
wow.
out of that
I think when
environment.
speaking of New York City, like a lot of people dream to go there. If you have a job, that's like a dream job.
Yeah, I dreamed of New York City too. And the first like year, it was a dream. It was really cool to be in New York. But then the longer I lived there, the more I realized I was attached to the idea of living in New York and not the actual lifestyle of being there. I didn't really enjoy what we would do, the social life, the people that I was around. It just didn't feel like a place that was home for me or somewhere that I really wanted to stay for a long time. It was cool to experience. I'm glad I was there. I was very fortunate to have a job that would support actually living there because now it's so expensive. You got to make
Yeah,
buku bucks to afford living in New York. So it was a fun experience while I was there, but I just something about it. I wanted to get out of that place, try something else, try something
got
very
you.
different.
And then you said you at that time you found a remote job, right? That allows you to work from home, right?
Hmm.
And then when
Yeah.
you move to Thailand, you're traveling in Thailand, you're still working for that company or no?
Yeah. I was still working for them for the first 2.5 or 3 years that I was in Thailand. I think 3 years. So that was a great opportunity. It basically allowed me to still make the same money that I was making in the US, but live here with the costs of living in Thailand. So I was able to
Significantly
save a
lower,
lot
I
of
guess.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that gave me a lot of runway because, like, looking back through my life, one thing that has always been with me, and I don't really know where this originated, but I've always felt like financially insecure no matter how much money I have. I'm always trying to save more and save up for a rainy day or whatever. And coming here and being able to save a lot has let off the pressure significantly so that I could build something, which I started building on the side while I was working, but now
Hmm.
I don't have any income and now I have income, some income from the website, but not enough to cover my full living expenses sometimes. And being
Yeah,
having that difference in
we'll
that
tackle that
savings. Yeah.
that area later on because yeah, one by one. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, well, I want to know what position was your previous job, that allow you to work remotely. What was it related to SEO or not relevant?
No, it wasn't relevant. Well, a tiny bit. I did product marketing, and that it was always called product marketing, but it sort of changed scope many times while I was there. I got moved around into different teams because they were always restructuring things.
Hmm.
So I did a little bit of SEO, but not nearly what I learned running my own website. Mostly what I focused on was growth marketing, funnels, the product itself. A lot of the work that I did was figuring out how do we onboard users and make the product stickier, help them get used to it. I worked on essentially like a Bloomberg style trading terminal. So a very
Hmm.
dense product that's very difficult to learn how to use. So I did a lot of work with product managers and designers and developers to make it easier to use and focus a lot on user education and that side of it, and a little bit of growth marketing and going on social media and doing that kind of stuff, but not very much SEO.
Yeah, got you. But I think that's a fantastic experience, that give you the overall picture of digital marketing and even product marketing, right? So you know the user
Hmm.
side, you also know the funnel, and then SEO is just one of the funnels, right? So if once you have this kind of big
Exactly.
picture in the future, when you decide to narrow down, you know where you are, right? So I see a lot of people started with SEO, but they are kind of like very narrow-minded. They don't know what's above. So it's marketing. Marketing is about like a product. Product is about the customers and the user acquisition, right? Yeah. So okay, so
Yeah, I've seen that as
we
well.
yeah, let's switch a gear a little bit. I want to know how you got started with SEO. When was that? And then perhaps you can, share a little bit highlights and the best achievements you have had.
So I got started with SEO probably in late 2019, early 2020. I had an idea to create a
That was like a
website.
COVID time, right?
Yeah, it was like
Perfect
right
time
when
for
COVID
SEO.
started. So I had plenty of time to write. And it was, I believe it was somehow I found a course called Income School, maybe their
Oh,
YouTube
income
channel or
school.
something, which,
Jim and what's the other person's
yeah,
name? They
yeah,
used to be a
Jim
duo,
and
and then they
Ricky,
broke
but
up, and then it's only Jim taking care of that.
Now it's
Okay.
only one of them, and
Yeah.
the quality is so. But what I liked about that course is that it wasn't too technical. It didn't bombard you with tricks and hacks and things, and it wasn't super deep on SEO. It appealed more to my broad marketing background, which said essentially just write content that's helpful to people and it will naturally rank, and then do a few things like make videos and connect it to a YouTube channel and stuff. But the focus is just figure out what is going to be useful content and write it, and then see if it ranks. So I wrote a website about finance because I was really interested in all these questions like what is money, what is inflation, all these like very arcane questions. And I would go to Investopedia and the Balance, and in my opinion, I felt like they just didn't answer the question. They would say, eventually they'd get down to like, well, the central bank just makes money and that's it. And everyone just listens and shuts up and obeys the central bank. And so I wanted to take that content further. So I wrote really long form articles about all these topics and put it up following the I think it's called Project 24, the Project 24.
Yeah, project. That's a nickname for the project.
Yeah, because you're supposed to make your income in 24 months or whatever. So they said write 30 articles. So I did 30 articles, and that was like spring of 2020. And they started to rank. So most content didn't rank because I was going for massive keywords like what is money and what is inflation. Where now looking back and learning more about authority and all this stuff, I'm like, there's no way my little blog is going to beat like the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis and the Balance and Investopedia and NerdWallet and all these like DR99 sites.
Right.
So anyway, I did get a few really small long tail queries that started getting traffic. And at the peak of that site, I don't know, I maybe got 4,000 or 5,000 hits in a month. And that blew my mind that I could
4,000 or
write
5,000. That's like
that was
in the finance niche. That's pretty good, decent amount of traffic.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I didn't have any offers to sell because again, Project 24 didn't really emphasize that. They didn't talk. They said write affiliate content, but put it on these small pages and just link to it occasionally. So I got 1 or 2 money articles to rank that made a little bit of money, but I probably made a total of $500 off this site, like since it's been live. So didn't really make money, but it showed me that I can write content and I can rank. And I got people on Twitter and stuff commenting about it and saying it's really useful. And I was seeing it being shared on Reddit and on Twitter and all these places. So that lifted me up a lot. And I realized I don't have to have a big brand or a huge following to get my content to be seen. I can do it with SEO. I can get it to rank in Google. So that was my first experience that gave me a taste for SEO.
Wow. So it kind of like opened your eyes for the potential of SEO, right? It can achieve.
Yeah.
I believe
like literally before this, I thought that all the SEO and affiliate marketing and stuff, I thought this is all a scam. Like these are all scam courses, or they sell you $100 course. And that's why when I saw Project 24 and Income School, they're like kind of podunk marketing got me, because I was like, oh, these are normal, trustworthy, honest, like Midwest guys that they're not scammers, And so I signed up and I paid for that for like a year and did it. And to their credit, it got me to start, but didn't get me much further than that. Then I had to really dive in. And that's when I discovered like Chiang Mai SEO community and all that.
Got you. Okay. That's how you got connected with Matt Diggity, Kai Roof, right? I see the other day they were promoting your mastermind and tour services in their Facebook profile. It is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. They're competing against each other to see who can refer more people.
Right. We can handle that part later on, because that's some of the questions I have related to that business. Okay. So this is your first website is about this finance project. So I guess you also started some other project, right? After that.
Yeah. So after that site, I think it was in 2021, and I realized this site is not going to make that much money. There were directions I could go in within finance that would make more money, but super competitive. And I realized I needed to level up and probably restart with a new niche, because I hadn't really thought out the niche that I got into as far as how would I make money with this content. And I found that most people coming to the site were like high school students looking for answers to their economics tests.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
like, all right, I don't have anything to sell to high school students. They don't have any money. So I realized I got to think from first principles about what the niche could be. And that's when I followed Matt Diggity's affiliate lab and decided to just restart and go through the affiliate lab process. And my thought was, I'll compare how these two work. How does income school versus affiliate lab work? And affiliate lab is a lot denser. It's a lot more information, a lot more tactics on how to set up the site and technical SEO and things.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through that over maybe like 6 months. I picked a niche in motorcycles that I knew it's a niche that could make some money. And it's also something that I have personal experience with because I started riding when I moved here and I was very into motorcycles. I still am very into motorcycles. So I thought I can write from a point of authority and I can also sell a lot of different products around that niche. So I started building that site in 2021.
Gotcha. Looks like you pick the niche based on your hobby, right? So you are a real motorcyclist and kind of like authority, and then you want to carry that authority from offline to online, right? And maybe build a business on it. I think that's probably your initial motivation and the goal want to achieve, maybe.
Yeah, I was kind of looking for an overlap between like the affiliate lab system for finding a niche. So they had a very detailed system of getting all these keywords and figuring out like where are the opportunities. And so I saw that this was a pretty good opportunity, and I had maybe 2 others that I was looking at, but they had nothing, like I was not interested at all in that space. So I thought, you know what, why not go with the motorcycle related one? Because long term, I'll have more motivation to work on this and think about it, and I will produce higher quality content. And again, thinking beyond SEO, if you pick a niche that will make a lot of money and will rank in SEO, that's great. But if your tactics stop working, then you're constantly trying to find new tactics. Whereas if you have authority in that niche and you understand the needs of the people that are reading your content, if you're thinking about this more than just, I want to rank in Google and make affiliate traffic, then you can go beyond and you'll have the ability to authentically go beyond to Instagram and TikTok and all these other channels and talk about what you're doing. And then you can create a real business, not just a website that gets Google traffic. You can have a website that's getting
just
YouTube
to be clear, at that point, you already understand the potential of this. This is more than just a niche website. It's a brand. And then you want to connect with your target audience, not just on the website, but also on social media, right?
Yeah,
back then, you already planned for this?
Back then, to be honest, I was not thinking about it that broadly. But as I went through creating the site and it got a lot of traffic and started making money, then I realized what's holding me back is not evolving into a bigger brand. And part of it was honestly like I felt like a fraud. Like I have this niche site I had a pseudonym on it. And like I need to bring this out and make it more legit, because at that time too, and still now, I'm looking for real motorcycle riders to work with me to create more reviews, because I can only review the gear that I wear, but there are other riders out there with a lot more experience who can review a lot more gear. And I knew where I was with the site. I had really deprioritized things like design and even site speed. I threw so many plugins into the site that it was slow, but it was still ranking. And I had ads all over the site, and I realized it looks really low rent. And so I invested a bunch of money in rebuilding the whole site, and now it looks beautiful, runs really fast. The content is even better. And sure enough, the revenue goes way up. Like to walk you through like the processes, there were really like 2 moments that I feel like I really evolved the site. The first was I had all the content written by a content writer who did not ride motorcycles. She just did research. And I was making maybe 10, 20 bucks a month with her content, like at the end of the first year that I built the site. Then I took a copywriting course by Kevin Meng, actually. Great course.
Kevin. We are actually going to play some pickup game after this call, in CMU.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, say hi for me. Awesome, dude.
Yeah, sure.
So I took Kevin's course, and then I looked back at my content. I realized this is all shit. Like, no wonder I'm making $10 a month, because who would read this drivel? It's just terrible. So I took the top like 5 ranking articles, or maybe 10, and rewrote them myself in Kevin's style. And suddenly I was making $100 a month. And that was like spring of 2023. And then by summer, I broke $1,000 a month.
Oh,
and
wow.
Then at the beginning of this year, I had a similar feeling where the look and feel and brand of the site is holding it back. Like, if I came to this site on a Google page, I would click off just because it just looks like shit. It doesn't look trustworthy. It doesn't look like a real brand. So I wouldn't believe what they say. And so I rebuilt the whole site. I didn't really upgrade the content. I just rebuilt it. And I had added maybe 20 articles the year prior, but only 5 or so of them are ranking this year beyond like page 2. And suddenly the site is now making like $2,000 a month after just redesigning it. So I think, especially in SEO, I see a lot of people under appreciating brand. Like, for me, brand really helped. When you put a voice in there, you make really good content, and then you put a really nice looking brand behind it. I think the way that I think about it, and I'm not an expert with Google or ranking factors or any of that stuff. I don't really pay that close attention, but my logic behind it is, you write better content, people spend more time on it, they click more, they show Google and the trackers that they like your website, and then Google will rank you higher. It's not really rocket science, you know?
Yeah. I was just in Bangkok for that Google Central Live conference, and I actually talked to Gary Eilis, who is the spokesman of Google Search, and he kind of confirms that, he says, we have a way to measure the quality of the website. I think what he meant is about the click data. They I don't know if you know, in May, Google API leak, there's some documents released. So it's all about Google has the ability to connect the users' data, when they land on the website, how long they stay, whether they have any engagement with your site, whether it's a long click or whether it's a last click, and then it all tells you something about the content quality, whether users satisfied with your content, right? Yeah. So I think what you did about the branding, that take it to the next level, and then you also make the site easy to use, easy to read, images, expert content. I think it all adds up to build that great user engagement, and then Google knows that. Yeah.
Google has their ways.
And then what was the main revenue stream for you? Is it purely from affiliates, or is it a combination of affiliate plus display ads and maybe your digital courses or other products?
I had ads for a while on the old site before I rebranded it. And then part of my whole cleaning up the site was taking the ads off, because at first I bought into this idea that ads make the site look more legit, because if you have ads, it looks like a bigger site. But the more I'm surfing around on the web and realizing, like, the best sites aren't throwing random ads at you for cars you'll never buy, or, whatever supplements and shit. So I took them down, and I think that was the right choice, not having display ads. I would consider using ads again if it fit the brand a little bit better, but I was using like Ezoic, so it was just random ass ads. But most of the money now, all of the money is affiliate, and I'm playing with digital products as well, and trying to spin that up to make different funnels for different digital products, because I'd like to be less reliant on organic traffic. Like 95% of my traffic is just organic. So
got you. What's the commercial versus info content ratio on this travel website? Because you turned off that ads, I don't know how much revenue drop you experience. And then, because most of the ads, I think the monetization comes from info content, right? And then we usually turn off ads on commercial content, best Expo Y, comparisons, and single product reviews. Yeah, we usually don't turn on the ads. So I want to know the commercial and the info ratio, if you still remember, for your site.
I don't really know accurately off the top of my head, but it's pretty high with commercial content.
Is it like
I
more than
try to
50% of the
yeah,
content
it's probably more
is
than 50%.
commercial? Oh, wow.
It's probably
I
more than
mean, in our
50%.
industry, we have some people believe this kind of theory. If your commercial content ratio is pretty high, then chances of your site got hit by Google update is also higher.
Yeah.
Even though there's no proof.
Yeah, that has not seemed to affect me. I think one thing I've really tried to focus on is every article needs to provide a ton of value, like whether I have things to sell or not. So if I have a roundup of like best X for Y or whatever, it's going to provide a lot of value, even if you don't click any of the links. Like I will write about the selection criteria and the top products, some terrible products that I would totally avoid, some brands that are really good, brands that aren't really good. So if you're a new rider, like looking for gear and you come to my site, even if you don't click any of the links, you're going to get a lot out of it. And that's what I didn't have when I first had the writer write the content. She just said like, I wore this jacket and it was great. I'm like, okay, that doesn't tell me anything about why I might want that jacket or what situations it would be good in, that sort of stuff. So I try to make sure all the content is really informative. And then I just put in affiliate links wherever there's a product, which is almost every article. Like there's maybe one or two articles that don't have any products in them, but I haven't really been shy about putting a product link in there. I may not be really hard selling. In most of the articles, I don't hard sell anything unless it's like a big roundup and I want to hard sell one product that's way better than all the rest. Like otherwise, I don't really hard sell. I just list out all the products and have information about each of them and what scenarios they're all good in and stuff. Just try to provide a lot of value. That's what I go for.
Wow, that's really impressive. Yeah. I would be very nervous if I write all this kind of commercial content, Yeah. But it's good to know that it's doing well with very minimum pure info content, right? Yeah. Okay. How did your website survive the HCU and the core updates, which happened, I think it's March, 5 months ago?
Yeah. So I was watching all these updates because they really started like maybe August or September the year before. Like it was late 2023 that I started seeing people like freaking out about this. And so
I remember that day. It's September 17, 2023.
Yeah.
And then the March one is
Black
March
Friday
5
or something?
and March 7. Yeah, this year.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I
I was watching all those, and that was around the time that I was looking for content writers who were motorcycle riders. So instead of looking for a content writer and teaching them about motorcycles, I was going to try and find a motorcycle rider that was focused on that would learn content writing or could already write pretty well, but had all the knowledge. Because especially with AI tools, like throwing it together and fixing grammatical errors and stuff, that to me seems like the easier part. Having actually valuable information that comes from personal experience, that's a lot harder to fake. So I was looking for those kind of people and thinking about this restructuring of the brand and doing a big rebrand and rebuilding the website and everything. And so weirdly enough, a friend that I had been getting to know over like the past year, he's a WordPress developer. So we were talking about this and he said, why don't I just rebuild your site? I'll get you a good deal. And, we can get together for like a week and just bang out the whole thing. So we planned to do that in March. And so we were rebuilding the whole website right when the March 5th and March 7th update happened. And that's when my site finally started to get hit, because before it was totally fine. And I
even
was
you
survived
the helpful content update last year, right? HCU.
Your
site survived that one. Okay.
Well, there was also, it seemed to be doing fine at that time, but it's also was going down in general in August and September, because most of my market is Western Europe and the US. where it's their winter.
Low
So
season.
people are
I
not,
guess.
yeah, they're not doing motorcycle stuff, searching for that kind
Got
of
you.
thing, because that's like the end of the season. And they don't start until the new year, really. And then people start buying stuff like January, February, but it really picks up like in the summer. So anyway, the site went down overall in just how much it was making, but I didn't see a massive hit, like I was losing tons of rankings or anything. And then in March, I started seeing like my traffic it was starting to go up because it's springtime and bikes are coming out of garages and stuff. And then all of a sudden it got hammered, like traffic was down 50%. And so I was rebuilding the site at the time, and I thought this is a good opportunity to test something and try to get out of this hole. And I figured I'd either get out of it or I'd redo the whole site, and then it would just stay at, go down to zero and stay there, and I just leave it and start a new project. So in March, it was kind of like, this is a coin toss, but I got to try it because I'm already building the site and I've done all this work to rebrand. So the part of the rebrand was whole new like logo, site design. The code is completely different and the domain is completely different. So
basically, like it's a complete like a reboot, right? Except the content.
Complete reboot, except the content. And I didn't really update the content that much. I took probably the top 10 articles or top 15 articles and added some content to that, like a couple paragraphs, or reorganized some stuff, just improved it essentially. I didn't like try to hack together a change. I improved all of them and then put all the content on the new site, but I didn't add any content, maybe 1 or 2 articles that I had half written or something. And then it was after the Saigon SEO conference, the SEO Mastery Summit.
I was there in April, but I don't think we spoke on the conference, right? We just met each other.
Yeah, I don't think I saw you, but anyway, maybe I'll see you next year.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
At that conference, and before that, I asked a bunch of people, what should I do to do this rebrand to try and save the site? And a lot of people gave me very similar advice, like do the 301, but I'm trying to think of the exact order. They said, before you do a 301 redirect, set up all the canonicals from each page exactly to the new site. And then wait like a month for the rankings to start to pick up, and then change it over and do the 301 redirect. And then when I went to SEO Mastery Summit, it was Jamie IF, really smart young dude. He gave me,
from UK. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, he gave me really good advice to do a press release as well, and to frame it as an acquisition instead of just a change of the site. Create like a paid press release that'll go out in all these outlets that pick it up and say the new site has bought the old site and is acquiring its content, and just write a flowery story around it. So I did that, and then right after, maybe a day or 2 after the press release came out, I redirected everything and put the 301s in. So the new site effectively disappeared. You would just go to the corresponding page on the old site disappeared. The new site became the only one live, and you would just get redirected over. Then a few weeks after that, I did the Google Search Console like change of address thing, and told Google Search Console, this website is now this website. And after that day, actually, I think after the 301, like all the traffic disappeared and Google started to get it, like put these in place. But I saw the rankings pick up immediately, and there really wasn't any lag. Like it went back to where it should have been, really. So my site like went 50% in March, and then was kind of hovering in that area. It went back higher than it was in March, where like because of the seasonality, it really should have been, and just kept climbing. And this summer's been great. So
that's incredible.
Pretty much erased the issue, which was really nice.
That's very impressive. Yeah, I want to know, when you add the change request address change in Google Search Console, do you use a new Google account, or it's the same account that was associated with the old one?
Same account.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That kind of give people, some people have this kind of conspiracy, say You have one side got tanked, got hit, then chances you have other side got hit if it's associated in the same Google Search Console account. Okay, so I think that's kind of a force. Yeah, it's just a conspiracy. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought that would happen too, and I was very excited about having the rebrand. I thought I'll get out of SEO. Like once I had the new site in my hand, I realized how nice it was. I thought even if it doesn't recover in SEO, there are other avenues I can pursue. And I wasn't super hopeful. It was just kind of a test that let's see if this works. So I did it in the same Google account, and yeah, it just came back. So it hasn't been an issue.
So it's been up like, so right now it's August 13. It's probably been like 4 or 5 months, depending on how you calculate from when, right? And then it's still going strong. This website is very stable, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, it's been growing ever since it went live.
Yeah,
really hasn't had a downturn yet. Hopefully, does not. Knock on wood.
Okay, I don't know if you heard about this, because based on your description, there's some 301 redirection involved, right? I also heard from some other SEO geeks. They also did a similar experiment, but they say it can work for a while, but most of the time it will tank after next core update. I don't know if you are aware of this. Have you heard about this?
No,
okay.
I haven't.
So let's wait and see. Since you say it's an experiment, right? Yeah, let's see. And then I think the next Google core algorithm update is coming soon. According to Gary Alias, it says within a few weeks. Yeah, hopefully this month, hopefully next. Yeah, let's hold our breath. Let's see. Yeah, I will reach out to you and then see if the core update comes. I will reach out. Hey, Evan, how is your website doing?
Yeah.
Let's see. It's going to be exciting experiment, nevertheless. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. So okay, let's switch the gear a little bit. What are your thoughts on the future of SEO? You've been to Saigon SEO conference. A lot of people are talking about, is SEO dead? Do we have a bright future? These kind of questions. Yeah. So what's your opinion?
Yeah, I think through a lot of these conferences and a lot of the really good speakers I've seen, like one thing that I'm personally adopting is trying to think bigger than SEO. Like SEO is really, it's easy to get started with. It requires very little capital. You just have to make a website and take your time to write content. And it's very scalable. You can scale it up with digital workers. And so it's super convenient. But that said, if you just think about ranking at Google, and I see this with people that are chasing SEO, you're chasing the tactics and the core updates and the changes like every quarter. It's not a sustainable business in the same way as like building a brand or a real business that has lots of different traffic sources to it and ways that you're acquiring customers. And so I'm trying to think bigger than that now. And that's why I'm doing like events and other things. Like I don't want to be locked into Google organic traffic is the only way that I make money. And if they cut me off, then I'm dead. I want to have other sources of traffic. I want to have other ways to make income that aren't dependent on really any centralized system like this. Because it's the same with, you have an Instagram account or a Twitter account or whatever, you can get banned tomorrow and then there goes all your leverage and all your power. So having a diversity of ways that you're getting traffic and that you're getting income is important. And I think SEOs, they're typically like very good at building systems and at thinking like in a way that a scaled business needs to think. They just need to think broader in terms of, and myself included, like we need to think broader in terms of where do we get traffic from and then execute in different ways and put people in the right places to grow different channels, different revenue streams, all of that.
Yeah, that's great. That's great takeaway. You actually just remind me another SEO, also super smart. And I don't know if you heard about him. His name is Kevin. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he has a very famous website called Epic Gardening. I don't know if you heard about this.
Oh, yeah. Kevin Indig? No.
Not Kevin Indeed. Kevin Indeed was a
No, no,
speaker
no.
from Germany who spoke last year
Right.
in America, but another Kevin from California. He lives in San Diego. Yeah, he has a.
Kevin
He also started
Espiritu,
with started as a content site in the gardening niche. He's also a gardening expert, similar to you. You're like motorcycle expert into the East, and then he took that authority from offline to online, and then built it more like a brand now. It's the traffic is like, I think it's more than 1 million in Asia. That's huge. I don't think he cares about the SEO anymore. It's more about the overall marketing channels. And then he got like featured in the famous magazines as the featured person in the preface or something like that. Yeah, it's really amazing to see like how we SEOs evolve. Yeah. Cool.
That's the lines I'm thinking now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just now you actually mentioned about your other business, about the motorbike tour and mastermind, and then you said you're trying to do some offline events actually to promote your brand, right? So can you tell us a little bit more about this business? I believe it's different from the content side, right?
Yeah, so this business is totally separate from the content site. And I started it actually because I did a motorcycle trip across the US solo, going to 30 different Bitcoin meetups. So I went to a bunch of Bitcoin meetups.
I actually read this. Do you mind if I share my screen? Actually, I was just looking at your website. Okay, let me share my screen. Yeah, it's got a rite of passage, right?
Yeah, so I created the first ride as essentially a trip where the people I met on that trip in the US or people that knew about that trip, because I did a lot of social media and whatnot, interviews and things around that. The people that wanted to have an experience like that could come meet me in Thailand and do a ride here. And so I did one last year, and I'm doing that one again this year, which is more like a leisure ride. It's several days. It's like almost 10 days. You ride big bikes. And then I came up with this, like through that, I came up with this idea to do this for entrepreneurs. Because essentially through that first experience, I realized, one, there's something really special about Thailand and about the activities that I can take people to, and sort of the way that I and the people on my team can bridge the cultural gap and show you Thailand in a way that most tour agencies are not. And then there's also huge power in bringing like-minded people together. So on the first rite of passage, it was Bitcoiners that were coming together. So they all had that as a common foundation. And I found that the discussions and connections between the group was way stronger than I've ever seen and I've been on a lot of other group tours and stuff. Maybe you get along with someone and you get their phone number, you never talk to them again. Like these guys that went on the first trip are in an active Telegram group now, and they made real connections. They really enjoyed being with other Bitcoiners. So I thought, why not apply this to entrepreneurs? Because especially digital entrepreneurs like us that can live anywhere. A lot of us have left our home countries. We're traveling around. We maybe have a base, or we're constantly moving. And so it's hard to have really deep connections with people. And I want to create a way that we can get some work done and also connect with each other more than what a conference center environment gives you. Because to me, like, I'm not the kind of person where I connect really deeply with people at a conference. I'll pick up some phone numbers, but I probably won't talk to them again. And having something like a motorcycle trip, which for this entrepreneur trip, it's just scooters, it's smaller. So like anyone who can really ride a motor or ride a bicycle can ride a small scooter, they can do this trip. I wanted to make it more accessible, but combining that adventure with business and the persona of entrepreneurs, that's going to create so many better conversations and connections than you'll get just getting wasted on a rooftop bar at one of the many conferences that exist for this type of person.
That's brilliant. Before we jump on this call, I was just commenting on this business idea. I think is really, really brilliant. You see the need, and then when I see this kind of passages and copies, vetted riders, deep discussion, unique itineraries, I was like, this is exactly what your target audience are looking for when they come to Thailand, Yeah. So especially in the SEO community, if you're living outside of Chiang Mai, somewhere, I mean, I'm from China, good luck finding some SEO people who can share the same language with you. Yeah. So it kind of feel that you are like that kind of a loneliness, you don't have many people understand your business, the value you're creating, that's the value of this kind of mastermind. And then also you combine with travel together, right? So it's like really, really deep, like a week. If I remember correctly, I saw you have several tours, and this one is sold out. Let me double check. I think it's called Magical Thailand. It's actually sold out. When I click in, I want to check how much the price is, but it looks like it's sold out, right? So closed for 2024. Yeah, looks like getting popular. And then I think we have the next one that's coming up. Oh, sorry, it's not this one.
Yeah, that's the mastermind.
Yeah, that's the mastermind. Still have a few spots left. I think
you'll find that at the top.
Yeah, this one
right
again.
there. That one too.
And then I was just checking the dates because I was checking Chiang Mai SEO conference. It's November 18 to 2022, and then I was just looking at the data put together, shown on your website. It's like, I think it's before the conference, right? November 4th.
Oh, that's Magical Thailand, yeah.
Okay. So this one is probably around the SEO conference. Maybe after?
Yeah, I designed that to be right after. So you can come to the conference, and then the following 3 weeks, Monday through Friday, there's 3 different trips leaving.
Got you. And then only 8 seats per ride. Okay, dear. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. I really like this kind of product, even it's more like a services, right? Yeah, and then looks like, I mean, I got educated in California about how to start a business. It seems like you are following exactly the blueprint, do this first, do that, figure out the pain points, build the MVP, test it, and now you put it out. Yeah, that's really great, and then congrats for reaching to this stage. Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, it's a grind, but it's fun.
Yeah. That's the reason why I need to pick your brain in this interview, because many of our blog readers, they are more than just SEOs. They are also like digital entrepreneurs. They want to learn and network with like-minded people. Yeah. Okay. All right. We are at 15 minutes mark. Okay. I still have a few questions left. Let's see if we can handle them. So besides the content side and then this motorbike mastermind and tour, do you have any other side project that you are working on right now?
I do a couple small events. Like I'm organizing an event after a conference here for Bitcoiners, but I try to keep it focused because I very easily can go in a million different directions. So over the last year, really, I've started to trim down, and these are my 2 focuses now. And maybe I'll pick one focus out of it in the next year, but I really want to trim everything down and really put all my energy in a few buckets.
That's cool. Yeah. All right. It's good to be focused, sometimes, especially when the economy is going down. If you work on multiple business, the chances of success would be a little bit lower. Yeah. All right. My next question is, what advice would you give to people who also want to live a lifestyle like you? You're from US, you build a business online, and you are living a good life here in Thailand. And then sometimes you can still have the freedom to go around, visit your home country. So that's a lifestyle that many of our blog or readers and audience wants to pursue. And then for those who haven't taken action, what do you want to say to them?
The first thing I'll say, because I've heard this from a lot of people, a lot of my friends, when I left the US, they said, like, oh, I could never do that. I could never move and live abroad. And to me, I looked at it as a test and a trial of living abroad, rather than I'm going to move and change my whole life overnight. Obviously, that's what it ended up looking like in hindsight. But my first 90 days there, every day I reminded myself, I'm trying this for 90 days. I'm not going to try to judge it first or decide whether I want to leave or stay. Obviously, I have good days and bad days where I want to leave or stay, but I wanted to give it 90 days before I really evaluated whether I was going to stay there for longer. and that made it a lot easier to chew and swallow. Like, it was just way easier to make such a huge move when I didn't think about it as this will change my whole life, because it did, but making all those steps smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the first site that I built. I have a really bad habit, which a lot of like entrepreneurial friends and very creative people I know have, that we leave a lot of projects half finished. Like my pattern, especially in college and right after college, with different projects, was I would get super excited. I'd work for like a week on this thing in all my spare time, and then I'd hit some roadblock, or I'd be confused about what direction I wanted to take it in, and I would put it down for a day, and that turned into 2 days, and that turned into a week, and 2 weeks, and a month. And then before you knew it, it was at the bottom of my to-do list, and I just let it go. And then I'd find some new shiny object and do the same thing. And a friend of mine who now runs a really successful like hospitality business, he told me, just spend 30 minutes a day on the project. And if you spend longer than that, that's okay, but don't feel like you have to spend longer than that if you're frustrated with it or whatever, but never miss 30 minutes a day. And my first website, that's how it got started. Like, once I started writing content, I was definitely putting in more hours than that, but by then I was more invested in it. The first 2 months was probably 30 minutes a day, every day, maybe an hour, where I was just doing a little casual research and learning about SEO and what kind of content could I write. And then I didn't feel like this pressure to, I have to build this right now, because that's how I felt with all my businesses, was all my ideas before. I have to build this whole thing right now. Like, the best time is the present. I have to do everything right now. And then I'd burn out. And at that 30 minutes a day, that helped me so much. Just take a chunk and do a little bit every day, and you'll be surprised what that snowballs into.
Right. Yeah. So basically, like, take smaller steps, make smaller goals. You said 90 days. Looks like this is familiar. Is it because you are only allowed to stay 90 days in Thailand at that time? Your visa, right? I guess.
Yeah. Well, actually, that time I was just on 30-day visas, but I had a wedding to go to. I went to Japan, and so that broke up like pretty much perfectly, my 3 trips.
Got you.
My 3 stamps.
Yeah, set smaller goals, make baby steps, and then after that, focus, be consistent, and don't work on too many projects at the same time. That kind of shiny new syndrome, right? New object syndrome. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
that has worked for me, at least.
Yeah. Any other productivity tips you want to share? Looks like you're very good at time management, task management. Anything you want to share with us? I'm also.
I don't feel like I am, but one thing I started doing really recently, actually, that has helped me a bit. It helped a lot at first, and now it's kind of trailing off and becoming less useful, but I'm also not very good at enforcing it, is tracking my time. That I have found really helpful. And that I got from Matt Diggity. He did a presentation here about, what did he call it? Like it was like about financial goals. I don't remember what the title of it was, but it was like, how do you get to your financial goals? And so we talked about like having a number, having an amount of money that you want to make that you could live off of for the rest of your life.
It's about setting goals, right? Yeah, he's very good at doing that. Like every month he have a goal. He shared some Facebook group. Yeah. What's your goal this month?
Yeah, the goal digger post. Yeah, it was kind of about that. And he talked about like figuring out your EHR, your effective hourly rate. Like, how much money are you making per hour of you sitting and working? And he said you have to track your time. Like, there's really no way around it. You got to track every minute of how, like, at least of your work. You don't have to track when you're sleeping and stuff, but like what you're working on and every minute that you're working. And so I downloaded this app called Toggle. It's like TOGGL.
Yeah.
And I've been using that on the computer. Just turn that on. And I find that, one, it helps me reflect on how much work am I actually doing. Sometimes I feel like, oh, I did so much this week. And really, I just collected a bunch of achievements, like a bunch of rewards, but I didn't put in any time. I just, positive things came to me. I didn't actually try and work that hard. And it helps me reflect on like, how much am I actually moving forward, and and doing work. And then having that timer off or having it on and seeing it in my menu bar, it forces me to not go off and do something else. So I'm becoming more focused on my tasks, because if I'm doing like marketing for this one ride, if I've got the timer going, I'm not going to go to Twitter and then, oh, I see some message, I got to respond to that, and that leads to 30 minutes over here.
Yeah,
I'm
all
doing that one
distractions.
task.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it
cool.
helps me stay on task.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing all the knowledge and productivity hacks. I think my blog reader will find them super helpful. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
One last question, because as I told you earlier, I am planning to put together a SEO conference in my country. The location will be Shenzhen. So would you be interested in participating, maybe speaking, I don't know, in any way that involved your conference? Would you be interested?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Okay. Sounds great. Yeah, I will keep you updated about this. Yeah. And then I also look forward to my blog readers' feedback. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, JP.
Yeah, no problem. Actually, one last question. What's your motorbike you're riding? I read from your website. It looks like you have a Harley Davidson, or is that right or no?
Yeah, so I've had a few. My longest tenured bike that I still have, but I'm actually trying to sell now, is a CRF 250, just a dual sport dirt bike with a windscreen on it. It's the rally version of it. And I upgraded that to 300cc engine. It's been a great bike for riding around in Thailand, but I want something bigger now. So I have that listed, and I'm looking at riding something larger. In the US, when I did that cross-country trip, I had a Harley for like 5 months. And that's the Harley that I reference a lot on the website, because I had a lot of experiences on that bike with a lot of different gear as I was riding around the US. And that was a Harley Ultra Limited, which is like the biggest bike they have, with all the bags on the back, because I lived off of that bike the whole time I was
Gotcha.
traveling in the US. And then I've had a bunch of scooters and smaller bikes and borrowed dirt bikes and rented in other countries and things, and ridden a lot of different styles of bikes over the years.
Yeah, in Chiang Mai, I don't know what's my motor. It's a scooter, I think it's a Honda something. It's only 110 or 130 cc, but it's nice and it's fast,
Like a
Yeah, I
Scoopy,
love it.
maybe.
Yeah.
The little 110s.
Yeah, I also have another friend. I don't know. Maybe he will be interested in your mastermind. His name is Dennis. I think Dennis from San Diego. I don't know if you know him. He's also a motorcycle rider. Yeah. He
Okay,
also
nice.
play basketball.
Oh, cool.
Dennis. Yeah, I will tell him about your mastermind. I think he would be very interested. He's also kind of an entrepreneur. Work on SEO a little bit, but more about business in San Diego. Yeah, I think he would be very interested in that product you have. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, let him know. I'd be glad to have.
All right, that's perfect. We are like 1 hour, 1 minute mark. Perfect timing. Yeah. So it's a great pleasure to have you here sharing your knowledge. A lot of stuff that I personally appreciate. I'm sure my blog readers and audience will do as well. Yeah, let's stay in touch. Yeah, hopefully we'll see you next year in China as well.
Yeah, I'll see you at the meetup in Shanghai.
I'm testing meetup. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, man. You too.
Yeah.
See ya.
Take care, man. Yeah, bye.
Bye.